Hello guys, Tony here, welcome to my new video tutorial where we will be creating a luxurious product promo. We will make this super easy, step by step. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future tutorials. This tutorial includes a variety of techniques and useful tips that you can use to enhance the look of your videos, slideshows, intros, and so much more. And without any further ado, let's jump straight into After Effects and start creating. Alright, we're here in After Effects, and first, like always, let's create a new composition. Hit Ctrl+N or this little icon. Let's rename this to Final. Of course, you can type your own text. This is gonna be 3840 by 2160. 4K, frame rates 30 frames per second, and duration it's okay to leave to around 30 seconds. Hit OK, and now let's create our background. Go right click, find here new solid layer. I will rename this to background, of course. Hit OK, and now go here in the effects and preset, and if you can't find it, just go window and you'll find it here. Now let's type ramp effect, drag and drop onto our background layer. For the start of the ramp, move upper left corner, end of the ramp lower right corner, and for the end color, let's change to dark gray one. Hit OK, and then go here again in effects and preset, find noise HLS, drag and drop onto our background, and let's change hue, lightness and saturation to around 2%. Now duplicate this background layer. You can hit Ctrl+D or go edit and then duplicate. I will just rename this background spot like so, and then hit here again on this layer, hit Q on your keyboard to find this ellipse tool, and then let's draw a circle here in our finals. Hit Ctrl Shift and Alt on our scene, and then let's draw a perfect circle like so. You can also hold space on your keyboard while you're dragging this on the left or on the right side, and this is looking cool to me. Now open up this mask 01, and for the feather, let's type here 500. Now click here again on our background spot and change our end color to maybe brighter gray color, like so. Hit OK, and now let's also add grid here in our scene, maybe to go a little bit darker one, like this. Hit OK when you're satisfied, and now go right click, find here new solid again. I will rename this to grid 01, also 4K, hit OK, then find here grid effect here in our effects and preset, drag and drop onto our grid layer, and for the size change from corner points to width slider, width type here 100, border to 1, and opacity to maybe around 5%, like so. And now, as you can see in our finals, we have also those cool grids. And now let's duplicate this grid 01, Ctrl+D. I will rename this to grid 02, like this, and here instead of this width 100, change this to 50. And as you can see, we have those cool grids here in our final scene. Okay, now let's create our media here in our final scene. I will close this effects control for now, hit Ctrl+N to create a new composition. I will rename this to media 01. This is gonna be 2500 by 2160, 30 frames per second, and duration doesn't matter for now, but I'll leave it to around 30 seconds. Hit OK, and now let's create another composition. This is gonna be media 01 plus elements, also 2500 by 2160, hit OK. Now go here again in our media 01 composition. As you can see, I already have this free footage from pexels.com. Of course, you will import your own media. Just drag and drop here in our scene, scale it down according to your needs if you need, like this. I will rotate this a bit. You will see later on why are we rotating this image, like so. And now let's import our media composition here in our media 01 plus elements, like this. Now let's create our matte for our media 01. Go right click, find here new solid layer. We will rename this to matte, hit OK, go again here in the effects and preset and find here block dissolve effect. Drag and drop onto our matte layer, and for the transition completion we will animate this one. For the block width type 100, also block height, uncheck this soft edges, and set up our first keyframe for transition completion here at 0 frames. like so. Type here 100 and then go to around 2 seconds or so and type here 0. Now hit here on our matte layer, hit U, choose our both keyframes, then hit F9, go to graph editor. If you can't see curve like this, just go right click and find here edit speed graph and draw a curve like this. Also for the track matte, find here on our Media 01 Alpha matte. If you can't find track matte, just hit here on toggle switches and modes. And now when we hit 0, we have this cool animation of our first media. Okay, now let's add a few effects on our Media 01. Hit here, go here in effects and preset. Our first effect that we're going to use is linear wipe effect. Drag and drop onto our Media 01. For the transition completion, type here 25, wipe angle 0, feather to around 600. Duplicate this once, and for the wipe angle, type here 90. Duplicate this once again, type here 180, and once again, and type here for the wipe angle 270, like so. I will just close this for now, and our next effect that we're going to use is glow effect. Drag and drop onto our Media 01. Here also let's change a few settings. For the glow threshold, type here 80, glow radius maybe to around 5, and glow intensity 0.5. Okay, our next effect that we're going to add here is Triton effect. Drag and drop also here on our Media 01. For the mid-tones, let's change here to cyan blue color. Change it like so, and then hit OK. Also for the blend with the original, type here 50. Optional effect that you can use also is curves. Type here curves. Drag and drop above all of our effects, and you can play around here with the darkness or brightness of this cool image like this. Okay, now let's import our Media 01 Plus elements, but before that let's pre-compose this once. Grab them, then go right click, pre-compose. We will rename this to Media 01 Plus Parts, hit OK. Duplicate this, Ctrl plus D, and then let's add our next effect here on our first Media 01 Plus parts. Find here effect, find edges, drag and drop onto our first composition, select invert option, and for the blending mode, change screen. This is with and this is without our find edges effect. Okay, now let's import our Media 01 Plus elements here in our final scene, and as you can see, this is looking really nice for now. Okay, now let's create our first text here in our final scene, but before that let's move this Media 01 Plus elements on the right side. You can use Shift and arrows on your keyboard like so. And this is looking really awesome. Okay, now let's create a new composition. Hit Ctrl plus N. I will rename this to text 01. For the width go 1000, for the height 400. Also frame rate 30 frames per second. Duration, it's okay to leave to around 8 seconds. Hit OK. And now I will just turn off this transparency for now. Hit Ctrl plus T or go here on this horizontal type tool. I'm using this Montserrat semi-bold font for the text size 160, and just type my first text, elegant, hit enter on your keyboard, watch. You can also play around here with the leading, but before that let's align our text. Go here, align. If you can't find it, just go window and you will find it here. Align it to the center like so, and let's play around with the leading. Double click here, choose here watch, and then you can play around here, but I will leave it to around also 160. Okay, now let's animate our elegant watch text. Open up this little triangle, go here in animate, find here position like so. For the Y parameter let's type -370 like so. Now open up this range selector, set up our first keyframe for offset, type here 100, go to around 3 seconds and type here -100. And now in our finals we have this type of animation. Let's readjust our text even more. Open up this advanced tab. Instead of this square shape, find here ramp down. For the ease high and ease low, type to around 50. Also grab all of our keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor and draw a curve like this. And now when we hit 0, we have this really cool and awesome animation in our text composition. Also what we can do is to go here again on animate panel, do not go here on add, go here on animate, find here tracking, and for the tracking amount you can play around. I will set up to around 10. And now in our finals we have this really cool animation. Also now import our text01 here in our final scene. Just grab our text01 composition, drag and drop like so. You can also turn on those titles and action save for easy recognition of our text and readjust it here in our finals. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we have something like this, and this is looking really cool for now. Okay, now let's create our second composition for our second text. Hit Ctrl+N again. Instead of this 400 height, let's type 600. I will rename this to text02, hit OK, and then go again here on our horizontal type tool. You can draw a box or rectangle like this, and I already have my text copied. I'll just hit Ctrl+V. You can of course type your own text. I'll just turn off this transparency for our second text, and let's change here Montserrat thin and 40 pixels like so. Also let's drag and drop our text02 here in our final scene and readjust it in our finals like this. Just turn off those title action and save for now. What we can do is to animate our text02. Open up here, go to around 0 frames, select our second text, go to effects and preset and find here type brighter effect. Drag and drop onto our second text and hit U for our keyframes, and you can readjust to maybe around 4 seconds or according your needs. And now when we hit 0 in our finals, we have this really cool animation. Okay, now let's create another composition here in our final scene. Hit Ctrl+N. I will rename this one to price. We will do 400 by 90, hit OK. Also turn off the visibility for this composition, hit Ctrl+T or go here again on horizontal type tool. And I already have my text copied. I'll just hit Ctrl+V, and of course you will type your own price. Hit here again, go in the line and align it to the center. Also let's add a little bit of tracking. Go here in animate, find here tracking, and I will hit 10 again. Okay, now go here in final again, drag and drop our price composition here in our finals, and you can also hit V and then readjust it here in our finals. Just one note, I'm using this snapping for easy moving here in our final scene. Okay, now let's draw shape for our price composition. Hit Q on your keyboard or find here rounded rectangle tool. Make sure to unselect everything and just draw a shape like this. Now go here in rectangle 1, but before that I will just rename to price shape like so. Then open up this rectangle 1, open up this rectangle path, uncheck this constraint proportion, type here 480. For the Y parameter type here 100, and for the roundness type here 100 like so. Now when we hit on our price composition, just make sure that our price shape is covering our price text. Okay, our next step is to go here in the effects and preset, find here fill effect and drag and drop to our price shape. Let's change color to, of course, cyan blue like this. You can also add your own colors, hit OK, and now also let's animate our price shape. Something like this, hit OK. Open up this little triangle, again go here and add, find here trim paths, open up those trim paths option, and let's animate our start parameter. For the start, set up our first keyframe, type here 100, go to around maybe 2 seconds and type here 0. Now grab all of our keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor and draw a curve like this. And now when we hit 0, we also have this cool movement of our price shape. Also you can play around with the offset, maybe to type around 85. And now let's see This is looking really awesome in our finals. And also let's add opacity for our price. I'll just go here in our timeline again. For our price, let's hit T to around maybe 10 frames or so. Set up our first keyframe for opacity, go to 0, and then go to around maybe 22 or 3 frames and type here 100. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we have also this opacity animation of our price text. Of course, you can play around with the option, with the keyframes and everything else. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we have this really cool and awesome scene. Just let's reposition this price shape and price even a bit more to the right, like so, maybe down a bit also. And now when we hit 0, this is looking really awesome and really cool. Alright, now let's create another composition for our smaller text. Hit Ctrl+N again. I will rename this to small text 01. I will do 300 by 70, hit OK. And now hit Ctrl+T to type text. I will just type home, align it to the center. Go here and find the line like this. Also open up this little triangle, find here tracking again and type here 5, like so. Now go again here in our final composition. I will close this effects control for now, drag and drop our smaller text. Also find here title and action safe, like so. And then grab our smaller text and readjust it here in our final scene, something like this. Also hit Ctrl+D here in our project window. This is going to be small text 02. I will just rename this product. Also go here again in the final composition, duplicate this small text 01, move this on the right side of our comp, hit here again on our small text 01, and just hold Alt while you're dragging this small text 02 on top of our small text 01, and then duplicate this once again. Also duplicate small text 03. I will rename this about, home product and about. Then hit here on our small text again and also hold Alt while you're dragging and just move it on the right side of our composition. Now in our final scene we have also those cool 3 small text. What we can do is to also open up this media 01 plus elements, find here media 01, hit R for rotation, rotate this a bit more, maybe scale it down. And when we're back here in our finals, we're going to see this cool watch and our cool scene. And now when we hit 0, this is looking really cool. Also what we can do is to animate opacity of our text. Go here at 0 frames, hit T for opacity, like so, go to 0 and then go to around 20 frames and type here 100. Then copy this opacity, choose this small text 02 and small text 03, hit T and go here at 0 frames and paste it like so. And then for the final step, what you can do is to readjust it a bit more, maybe to around 15 frames or so. Basically, you can play around with everything. Also, you can grab keyframes, move it further to the right side. Everything is up to you. Maybe to grab them all again and move it a bit to the right side again, like so. And now when we hit 0, this is looking really cool and really awesome. Okay, now let's draw a line here in between of our two big text. Hit G on your keyboard or go find here this pen tool. For the stroke, set up to around 2 pixels. Zoom it a little bit and then draw while you're holding shift on your keyboard this perfect line. Okay, let's rename to middle line, like so. Then open up this little triangle, go here and find trim path option. And now let's animate our start and end parameter. Go to around 2 seconds 20 frames, set up our keyframes for start and then go to 0 frames and type here 50. Also grab all of our 4 keyframes, hit F9, then go to graph editor and then draw a curve like this. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we also have this cool moving line in our finals. What we can do is to readjust our text even more, move it up a bit, like so. You can basically play around with everything. Also our middle line, move it up a bit until you're satisfied with your final result. This is looking cool to me. And then also let's draw a left and right line. Also hit G on your keyboard, and instead of 2, type here maybe 1 pixel, like so, and hit G again on your keyboard. Find here pen tool and draw this left line while you're holding shift. I will just rename this left line. Okay. Also open up this little triangle, find here trim paths again, open up this trim path option, and now let's animate our end parameter. Go to 0 frames, type here 0, set up our first keyframe, then go to around 4 or 5 seconds, like so, and type here 100. And now in our finals we also have this cool moving line on our left side. What we can do is to hit Ctrl+D and move this left line here all the way on the right side. Let's rename this right line, like so. And what we can do also is to animate this start parameter. Hit W to find this trim path option. For the end parameter, type here 100, uncheck this stopwatch for now. Then go here to around 0 frames, set up our first keyframe for start, type here 100, and then go to around 4 seconds and 20 frames and type here 0. And now in our finals, when we hit 0, we also have this cool right line here in our scene. Okay, also for the final step, let's create transition for our scene. I will close everything except this final composition, hit Ctrl+A to select everything, then right click, pre-compose. I will rename this part 01 plus elements, hit OK, and then hit Ctrl+K to readjust the length of this composition. Let's do 8 seconds, hit OK. And then let's create a solid layer, go right click, find here new solid layer. I will rename this to matte, hit OK, go here in the effects and preset, find here block dissolve effect again, drag and drop onto our matte, go to around 4 seconds and 15 frames. For the block width and height, type here 100, unselect these soft edges, set up our first keyframe for transition completion, then go to around 6 seconds and type here 100. Then hit U on our keyboard, select all of our keyframes, hit F9, go to graph editor and draw a curve like this. Also next step is to find here alpha matte of our part 01 plus elements, and now when we hit 0, as you can see, our scene will have also this cool transition. What we can do next is to select this again, hit Ctrl+Shift+C or go right click to pre-compose. I will just rename this slide 01, hit OK, and then also hit Ctrl+D, move this bottom slide 01 one frame ahead, like so. Go here in the effects and preset again, type fill effect, drag and drop onto our first slide 01, and let's change color to also a cyan blue color like before. And now when we hit 0, we have this cool final scene in our final composition. Alright guys, that would be everything for today's tutorial. You can further enhance the effects by adding a grid to a solid layers to achieve tiny dots, also that you can see in the preview. As I mentioned earlier, it's all up to you how to utilize the techniques shown in this tutorial. Thank you once again for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming tutorials. Also check out my channel for many more fantastic video lessons. All the links are in descriptions, and until next time, stay creative and bye bye!